Trump has fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook, but Lisa Cook is fighting back. Her lawyer vows to sue over Trump's attempt to force her removal, calling it unconstitutional and a threat to the central bank's independence.
All right. What is the central bank? Let's get that straight. The Federal Reserve System, I think it has 7 governors who have tremendous economic powers over interest rates and the money supply. There are economists who believe that the Fed has more influence over the economy than even the President of the United States. There are some who believe that, that's at least an arguable point. It was established by law under Woodrow Wilson, went into effect in 1914 in order to avoid the various financial panics that periodically had torpedoed the American economy. Most recently, the panic of 1907. There were no means of, stabilizing the financial system in order to avoid panics, to try to simultaneously keep inflation down and keep growth steady. And the hallmark of the Fed, and the framers at the time were very clear about this, Sam, it had to be independent of political control. Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because you can't run an economy in the political interests of any individual or political party. That's the way to destroy and undermine an economy. You have to have an independent central authority whose loyalty is only to the people of the United States. You interfere with that, you not only threaten the American economy, you threaten the world economy, because obviously the United States is the linchpin of the world economy. And you have to depend upon the United States to be guided not by partisan politics or authoritarian ambition, but to be guided by sound policy, as best it is understood by an independent, nonpartisan board. That's why it was set up, the Fed, way back under Woodrow Wilson, to be independent of political influence. They have, I think, 14-year terms, and under the law, they can only be fired for cause. Now, by the way, Lisa Cook, you know what her race is?
Yeah, she's black.
She was a path-breaking person on the Fed, and we know Trump thinks, virtually every black person who succeeded or has any authority is the result of DEI or, reverse discrimination against white people, even though white people control most of the economy and most of our politics. But that's another point. So here's who he has gone after. And he has claimed he has cause to fire her. Right, Sam?
Right.
Is it because of anything she did on the board? No. Somehow, one of his sycophants, guy at the Federal Housing Authority, must have been trolling through, God knows, tens, maybe hundreds of pages of her documents on mortgage loans to find something, anything that can be used against her. And this Trump sycophant has claimed, without proof, that she falsified some mortgage applications by saying a purchase was to be a principal resident when it wasn't. So he claims this is cause. But the cause was fabricated essentially by himself. Not directly, but by his own sycophants who are looking to get dirt on this person.
Right.
Has she been indicted, Sam?
No.
Has she been convicted?
No.
No. The only thing that's out against her for cause is what one of Trump's own loyalists is claiming. That cannot possibly count as cause to fire an independent regulator. And even the Supreme Court has said you can't fire Federal Reserve members without cause. If this goes through, then any president could get one of his sycophants to gin up anything. Everybody has something, right, in them. Maybe you're totally pure.
I'm good.
You're good. But most people have something you could find. Or they just make it up like they do. And that without indictment, without conviction, without proof, that somehow constitutes cause. And it is really rich that Trump should be up on his high horse about this so-called financial fraud. Right, Sam?
Right.
What did a judge in New York find and the Court of Appeals agreed?
Fraudster.
A massive financial fraudster, not doing something like, well, maybe it was or wasn't my personal residence, but I live in an apartment that's a little over 10,000 square feet, so I'll report it's really 30,000 square feet. And let's not forget, this guy's also a 34-count convicted felon. And here he is, expressing this extreme outrage. How could she do such a thing? She's got to be fired. This is outrageous. Without the due process that Trump enjoyed himself, right?
Right.
He didn't just have someone say you committed financial fraud. He went through the legal process. He didn't just have someone say you falsified your business records to conceal your payments to the porn star. He went through the legal process. He got convicted of 34 felony counts by a jury of his peers, not by Joe Biden or any politician, but by a jury of his peers in New York, where he had, lived for most of his life. Now, he's claiming we can do whatever we want to this woman without any of the due process that I had the benefit of, just by some claim made by one of my loyalists that hasn't been tested in any way in the legal system. Now, let me give you an example, a couple of examples of what happens when you start politically manipulating central banks. You ever hear of Erdogan of Turkey, Sam? Erdogan. Yeah. Another authoritarian. Well, he did what Trump wants to do.
Erdogan.
I got it. He manipulated the central bank because, like Trump, he wanted a booming economy. He wanted interest rates to plummet. And you know what the result was?
Bad stuff.
80% inflation, not 8%. 80% inflation, and the Turkish currency plummeted against the dollar, forcing him finally to back off. We have an example in our own country. Who do you think, what other president would have been nefarious enough to mess around with the Fed?
Nixon.
Richard Nixon, exactly, pressured Arthur Burns, a loyal Republican Fed chairman, also to drop interest rates at a time of inflationary pressures before the 72 election because he wanted a booming economy come 72. And he got it. He got his reelection. And the result was 10 years nearly what we call stagflation. High inflation combined with a sluggish economy and high unemployment.
The reason why they can't bring down interest rates is because of you, Trump, because you put tariffs into place. I mean, whatever the outcome...
And you're blowing a hole in the deficit.
Right. It's like, bro, it's so... Some of this stuff is just so frustrating. It's like, Trump is the reason why we can't lower interest rates.
Exactly.
His direct actions are the reasons why.
And they may anyway. Regardless of what Trump, we'll see. But you're absolutely right.
I mean, I'm just saying that's why they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet because of Trump's negative policies.
This isn't rocket science. It's so black and white.
This is the thing. It's all black and white. It's all obvious. Trump is not subtle. We knew all this before the election, and that's why I was so flabbergasted that I was wrong. I just couldn't believe, knowing everything we know about Trump, that they would put him in office again. And, as I explained, you couldn't cut through all of the misinformation.